Welcome to the Lead Everyday Show. Our mission is to see a world well led, and our strategy to get there? To empower leaders like you to lead every day. So let's get to work.
How amazing would it be if everybody had a great leader? Have you ever had a leader that was not so great? If you have, you know that's not amazing. But if you have had one, it's fantastic. Welcome to the Lead Everyday Show. I'm Randy Gravett.
I'm Mark Miller.
And we're trying to help you lead every day. That's really what we're here about. If you were with us yesterday, you know we kind of introduced this idea that we have this new show going out. It's going to be highly practical, trying to help you get better in your leadership. And we told this crazy story yesterday about the day I'm saying vandalized the building at Chick-fil-A with the scope and sequence we started writing out. I remember back then we were talking about just the idea of can you be a better leader yourself? We think the hardest person you probably lead is yourself. At least the hardest person I lead is me. We talked about leading other people and then leading teams and then building an organization. That's morphed through the years. We've had an opportunity to grow that scope and sequence, so to speak, which has been fun. And so we're gonna just kind of give you a little flyby today of that, and then over the next few weeks we're gonna unpack a lot of stuff, help you think about your new year that's coming up. A lot of fun stuff coming up over the next few days. So I'm fired up to be here for episode number 2. How about you,
Yeah,
Mark?
me too. I'm excited that we have continued to tweak that original art project that you referenced earlier, because as I mentioned yesterday, we talked about wanting to start with where the leader is.
Yeah.
Right. There are some things that all leaders do, but let's begin with their felt need. And that's how we came up with this new ecosystem or operating system, as I think we're calling it now. And it's built around the needs of the leader. So you want to unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, we will. It's so amazing when I get around leaders. I mean, we work with leaders, have for the last decade in all kind of sectors, from professional sports teams to healthcare to insurance. I mean, it's like exterminators,
Chicken restaurants.
I mean, hundreds of Chick-fil-A's, which has been fun. And what I find is you start talking to leaders, and you don't go to chicken school and learn how to build teams or lead meetings or solve problems or it's like you're really great at the chicken part. That's good. Or you're great. We had farmers one time. Remember, they called us and they're like, we're really good at fruits and vegetables, but like we got to lead people now. We got a bunch of people,
right,
in these organizations. And so I think what happens is we have bypassed a process to be able to develop leaders. And so that's what we've tried to create through the years. And it starts with becoming a better leader. We think that's foundational.
It is foundational. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Many in our audience would probably recognize that as a famous John Maxwell quote. I'm not sure he said it first, but he's the guy that impressed that upon me over the last 25, 30 years. It's like an organization is never going to outgrow its leadership. At Chick-fil-A, we even talked about it like this. We said, if you want to grow your organization or your restaurant 10%, you better be growing at least at 10%. And the leaders around you had better be growing personally at least 10% a year, because you're not going to outpunch your coverage in that way. And so everything rises and falls on leadership. We identified some fundamentals about 25 years ago through a project we did at Chick-fil-A, studying what great leaders have done throughout history. And we call those the fundamentals, and we're going to unpack those in the days ahead.
Yeah, we do. We got a plan here to do that. That's going to be good. Well, it's cool when you have an opportunity to get better as a leader. If your business is going to get better, you're going to need to get better. You're not going to your business, your team, your organization is not going to outgrow your leadership if you're the leader. And we think it's a big competitive advantage wherever you are. If it's well led, it's got a really great chance. In fact, when we started thinking about the organizational part, we'll talk about that in a second, but you won't find a great organization that's not well led. So these things are pretty sequential.
They're connected.
They are connected. Let's go to the next one. The idea that we have a chance to improve our team's performance. It's not just can you lead you, can you get a bunch of people around you and do some things together. Talk about a competitive advantage. When you get a team working together, it becomes crazy competitive
Yeah.
advantage.
And although the fundamentals are foundational, there's a different skill set to build a high performance team. And again, I'll be so excited on the episodes when we go deep into that. But I've loved teams since I was a little bitty kid.
Yeah, we both been on teams since we
Forever.
were for kids. I mean, and that's been a long time ago. It's when we were kids.
Forever. And about 30 years ago, Chick-fil-A decided that we wanted to make teams a competitive advantage. And so we began studying and researching and practicing and piloting and experimenting. We were trying to crack the code on why some teams flourish, but most flounder.
Yeah.
And we actually do know how to create a high performance team now.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, there's so many times through the years I have been on some really good teams, but I've been on some teams that were not so good. And some of the things that we learned when we studied all this, and now that we teach, it's fun. I wish some of my coaches had known.
Interesting.
Some of what we've discovered.
I was on a bunch of awful teams. I mean, the greatest teams I've been on have been in the marketplace. I never really had the joy of being on a great team as an athlete, but I didn't care.
Yeah,
because I love teams so much.
You just love being a part of the team. Yeah, it's good. And so if you're out there leading a team, well, you're gonna have some questions we're gonna give you in the days ahead to help you strengthen your team, which is going to be fun. Well, the third piece, which is kind of your over the last decades, I'll just say it's been kind of your place, the organizational piece. You've been a part of one of the greatest organizations in the world, Chick-fil-A, which has been kind of fun, and you've had a under the hood look and a front row seat, or however you want to say it, to that. And one of the things we want to try to do is help people improve their organization, really maximize their organization. When you get people working together, I think you said years ago, it's one thing when you had the operator of the restaurant, or if we find somebody we work with in any of these businesses, like if you got a good owner or a good team leader, that's great. But when you get everybody in the organization all working together, that becomes amazing.
Yeah, I look forward to unpacking that in much more detail later. But the essence of it is that we went to work several years back, probably 15 years ago, trying to figure out what all great organizations have in common. Because yes, we have and will continue to talk about all the great things about Chick-fil-A. One thing that made Chick-fil-A great and still makes them great today is they're always trying to get better. So we commissioned this team that I had the privilege to lead to figure out what is it all great organizations do, because we want to learn from that. And we've cracked the code on that as well.
Yeah,
can't wait to share that.
And we get to share that and learn from other organizations as well, which is fun. Well, there's a fourth piece to the what we call the ecosystem when we think about it, and that's the idea of accelerating your success. I mean, it's great to think through, can I be a better leader in my team and my organization, all that kind of stuff. But the idea that we can go farther, faster, I like that. I mean, I use sometimes the idea or the picture of if you've got a 5-speed, but you've got it in second or third gear, you can still drive the thing.
Right.
I mean, you'll make progress, but it puts a lot more wear on it, a lot more pressure on it. I mean, you can go from here to we're in Georgia. You can go from here to California in third gear if you wanted to, but why would you want to? And yet, how many leaders are out there, and because they don't know what to do or how to do it or how to accelerate that, we're gonna spend some time talking about that as well.
Sure. Yeah. And I think, as we talked about, is this a separate element and component within this larger system? And I think the reason we landed there is there are some discrete skills and competencies that you need to become a better leader. The same can be said for teams. The same can be said for strengthening your organization. But we wanted this fourth category because the ideas that we're going to share here apply in all of those areas.
Yeah.
And so I think it's going to be the turbocharger that leaders can apply.
I'm excited about
across these other domains.
Yeah, and some of that's going to spill out even outside of work, which we're going to talk about. It's going to be a lot of fun. So that's a little bit of an overview. We're going to actually start tomorrow. We're going to dive into the Become a Better Leader piece, which is going to be cool. I hope you'll join us for that. And today I would just say, if you want to do something to think about this at a little deeper level, go to the website, leadeveryday.com. You can go poke around there if you've not checked it out. I hope you'll check that out. There's all kind of stuff there, a lot of free resources, things that you can get if you'll go there, and you can find out about all 4 layers of this ecosystem to really help you as you think about becoming the leader that you can be. Remember, the best leaders lead every day.
See you soon.